Alrighty, here we go, everybody. Welcome back to science class. Today we are continuing our unit on adaptations. So let's just remember that adaptations are ways that animals change either their body or behavior to help them to survive. So some way that they adjust or get used to their environment, either through a structural adaptation, so something to do with their body parts, or a behavioral adaptation, like grouping, migration, hibernation, or being nocturnal. So we are still focusing on structural adaptations this week. We'll wrap up structural adaptations, and then next week we'll talk about behavioral adaptations. So today's focus is on animal teeth and how our teeth adapted to help animals survive. So first things first, let's talk about what are teeth for. Why do animals have teeth in the first place? Well, it might be pretty obvious to you. The main purpose of teeth is for eating food. They can also be used in the animal kingdom for protection and for communication. So think of all of the messages that you send with your teeth every day. If you're happy, you might smile, or if you're in pain, you might grimace and show your teeth. And animals do the same thing. They show their teeth with different expressions in order to communicate how they're feeling, or maybe to communicate warning signs, for example. But the primary thing that we use our teeth for is for eating, for chewing our food, or sometimes for killing our food if we're hunters or carnivores. And what are teeth called? So sometimes we call them teeth, obviously, but you might also hear these words, and I'll refer to these throughout our lesson today. Fangs, tusks, those are two different kinds of teeth that I will define for you here in a second. And then you might also hear some slang words like choppers or pearly whites. People have different names for different kinds of teeth. But let me tell you about these two, fangs and tusks. So fangs are simply long, sharp teeth. They are usually used for biting or for tearing flesh. So you're normally going to find fangs on predators or hunters or carnivores. So here's an example of some of nature's coolest fangs. This is a jumping spider, and you can see its huge fangs right here. These greenish blue things are actually its teeth protruding from its mouth, and it uses those to help hunt its prey. Here are some snake fangs right here. And as you can see, these fangs are actually kind of tucked away inside of the mouth. As soon as the snake reaches out to bite its prey, those fangs will flip on out so that they can sink into their prey. Okay, but you can kind of see them right here. They're long, sharp, pointy teeth. Same with this cat. This wild cat has long fangs at the front of its mouth. And then tusks are similar to fangs, except that they come further out of the mouth. So they're large, pointed teeth that protrude or stick out from the mouth. So walruses have tusks. Elephants also are famous for their ivory tusks. And they can grow really large. So tusks are the largest teeth on Earth. Even this wild boar has little tusks right here sticking out of the side of its mouth. Okay, so just to recap, what are teeth for? Primarily eating, protection, and communication. And go ahead and pause your video and answer for me that question. Question number 1, why do animals have teeth? What is the purpose of teeth, and what do we use them for? Okay, awesome. Hopefully you told me one of these three: eating, protection, or communication. Sweet. Alrighty, so what kind of teeth an animal has depends on what that animal eats. So when we're talking about teeth adaptations, normally teeth are adapted to help the animal get the kind of food that it needs. That makes sense, right? If teeth are for eating, then they're going to be adapted depending on what kind of food the animal needs. So we have 3 different categories of animals in the animal kingdom: herbivores, carnivores, or omnivores. Have you heard these words before? Do you remember what they mean? Let's test your knowledge. Let's see if you know this. Herbivores eat plants. Carnivores eat animals. And omnivores eat both plants and animals. So herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores all have slightly different teeth that are adapted to handle the type of food they're eating. For example, herbivores have wide, flat teeth that are good for mashing and grinding grasses and the tough fibers of leaves and plants. So animals like the zebra, for example, you'll notice that they have big, flat area of teeth. And this is good. If you've ever seen a cow chewing grass or any kind of animal chewing on grass, these flat teeth are perfect for that grinding motion. So horses, same thing. And cows. So a lot of grazers and plant eaters have these flat beds of teeth inside their mouth. Whereas carnivores have sharp, pointy teeth so that they can rip and tear into flesh and shred skin. So animals like cats, you'll see they have these fangs right at the front, are also called canines when they're at the front of the mouth. This lion is one of the top carnivores, and they have obviously huge fangs, very sharp and pointy teeth. Great for tearing the flesh of their prey. Same with this alligator. You'll notice its sharp and pointy fangs. And this shark has many rows of extremely pointy teeth. So when an animal has to hunt for its prey or tear into flesh or skin in order to be able to eat, then they usually are well adapted or well equipped for that job with very sharp and pointy teeth. Now omnivores, since omnivores eat both plants and animals, just like humans, they have a combination of flat and pointy teeth. So dogs even are omnivores. They have some pointy teeth at the front, some canines, but if you look towards the back of their mouth, you'll also notice some flatter teeth that are good for chewing up plants and fruits and things. So dogs are omnivores, same with hippos. Notice they have these sharp canines, these sharp fangs, but then if you look at the back of their mouth, they also have the flat molars for grinding. Okay, jumping spiders are the same way, or many insects are the same way, where they'll mostly eat meat. You'll see this jumping spider is using its fangs to eat this cricket or grasshopper. But they'll also sometimes eat plants or chew on leaves or drink nectar. And obviously humans are omnivores. Some of us, you guys know I don't eat meat, but the human species in general, we are omnivores. We eat both plants and animals. So you'll notice that our teeth are well adapted for this. We have some sharp teeth, and we also have some flat teeth. So towards the back of your mouth, you have the flatter molars, which are good for grinding plants. And towards the front of your mouth, you have sharper teeth for ripping and tearing things. Great. So scientists will sometimes even use these teeth adaptations to understand animals from the past. So if you look at fossils of different teeth, you can sometimes tell what that animal was used to eating or what that animal was adapted to eating, even if that animal is already extinct. So this is one of the ways that scientists and paleontologists understand what dinosaurs used to eat, is by looking at their teeth. So we can tell, even from extinct creatures, we can tell if they were herbivores by their rows of flat, wide teeth. Or we can tell if they were omnivores based on a combination of sharp teeth and flat teeth. And then it's obvious to us which dinosaurs were carnivores based on their rows of extremely sharp and pointy teeth. And you'll notice this T-Rex has no flat teeth for grinding, only sharp teeth for ripping and killing. So it's pretty interesting to see how teeth, well, all body parts really, but especially the teeth, are well suited and well adapted for an animal's needs. Alrighty, so pause your video. Let's answer question number 2. Tell me, what is the main difference between herbivore teeth and carnivore teeth? How can you tell them apart? Okie dokie, awesome. Hopefully you told me that herbivore teeth are flat and wide for grinding plants, and carnivore teeth are sharp and pointy for ripping flesh. All right, so let's talk about some examples of animals and how their teeth are adapted to help them survive. First, we'll talk about a shark. So sharks have rows and rows of sharp teeth. Different species of sharks have different numbers of teeth, but generally it's about 5 or 6 rows of teeth. And they can have up to 2,000, 3,000 teeth in their mouth at one time. And since sharks are constantly hunting with their teeth, sometimes they break them, sometimes they shed them. In fact, I've heard that sharks can lose up to 100 teeth a day. So they are able to regrow any of the teeth that they lose. That's one of their adaptations. And in fact, they are constantly shedding and regrowing new teeth. So because they have so many and because they break or wear down over time, sharks are constantly shedding old teeth or losing them, and then they regrow new teeth. So they, throughout their lifetime, can go through sometimes 35,000 teeth. Not all at once, but throughout their whole life, they might have that many teeth because they're losing them and regrowing them all the time. So this is a great adaptation for a hunter like the shark, who constantly needs to have sharp tools to be able to hunt its prey underwater. Now, how about an elephant, an herbivore? Elephant teeth are also called tusks, as we talked about earlier, and they are the longest teeth in the world. So these are actually teeth, even though they're protruding out of the mouth. And elephant teeth are pretty cool because they, yes, use them for eating, protection, and communication, just like all animals. But elephants can also use their tusks for digging in the ground, for lifting objects. So if they needed to move like a big tree trunk out of their way, or a branch or a log out of their way, they could move it and lift it with their tusks. They also use their tusks to shred the bark off of trees, for example. And sometimes they use it for protection. So when they start fighting, or if 2 elephants are getting into a fight, they will use their tusks as weapons and also as defense. Awesome. Now let's talk about a snail. Did you know that snails have teeth? Snail teeth are pretty fascinating. In fact, snails are the winner of the category of most teeth. They have the most teeth of any animal. Sometimes up to 20,000 teeth at one time. So even though we think sharks have a lot of teeth, sharks have 2,000, 3,000 teeth in their mouth, snails have 10 times that amount at once. And you might think, well, how does a snail have that many teeth if they're such a small creature? Well, they have teeth in rows and rows and rows all along their tongue, basically along like their underbelly. And these teeth are super small and super sharp. So I have heard that these teeth are not even as wide as your hair, as a human hair. So it's like a tiny, tiny little needle, this little tooth. And it's very, very sharp. And snails, kind of like sharks, are constantly growing new teeth so that they can replace any of the lost or damaged ones. So this is kind of fascinating. Snails, even though you can let a snail walk on you and it's not going to hurt you per se, you can actually listen to a snail chewing its food. And it chews kind of all along its whole underside. And slowly uses all of its thousands of little teeth to grind up, little flowers and leaves and small parts of plants. So, bet you never knew that a snail has teeth, but it actually has more teeth than any other animal. What about a rabbit? Rabbit teeth are well adapted to its needs. Rabbits are herbivores who are constantly chewing. And because they're chewing, their teeth break down easily. So one adaptation that the rabbit has is that its teeth never stop growing. They are continually growing. So even though they're getting broken down by the rabbit's constant chewing, they'll just keep on growing for their entire life. Right? Human teeth don't do this. Most teeth don't do this. They'll stop growing after a certain time. And like our teeth, for example, if they break, they're not going to regrow, right? We have to go to the dentist and get it repaired with a fake tooth. But rabbit teeth just keep on growing. And this is important actually because rabbits have to keep chewing. If they stop chewing or they don't have hard enough things to chew on, then their teeth can actually overgrow. And their teeth will just keep growing and growing and growing until they're covering the whole front of their face, basically. So even though this adaptation is helpful for rabbits, they have to make sure that they keep chewing so that their teeth don't overgrow. Ooh, and what about a king cobra? So a king cobra is a very venomous snake, has venom or like a poison, a toxin inside of their fangs. And like many snakes, or like most snakes, their fangs fold away inside of their mouth. So as you can see, this king cobra does not have its mouth open, and you can't see its fangs. They're not sticking out like tusks. They're folded up and tucked away inside the mouth. And these fangs are sharp and hollow, very, very sharp, and hollow like a needle. So that way, when the snake is ready to bite, the fangs flip out from their mouth, and then they are able to poke into the prey and inject the venom, just like a needle, straight into the prey. So this is an excellent adaptation of a king cobra. Not only is the venom an adaptation to help it hunt its prey, but also the fact that the fangs fold away inside the mouth helps keep the snake safe by preventing it from getting its fangs caught on anything or from poking itself or anything that it doesn't want to poke with its fangs. So it keeps them tucked away so that they're nice and safe until they're ready to be used. So pause your video. Let's answer your third and final question on your Google form. Describe how one animal's teeth are adapted to help it survive. So there are so many different animal species and so many different kinds of teeth and different adaptations. We just went through a few different examples, like an elephant, a shark, a snail, a snake. So tell me just one adaptation of an animal's teeth. Alrighty. Awesome. So that brings us to the end of our lesson today, everybody. Hopefully you learned something new about teeth and teeth adaptations. We remember that all animal adaptations are there to help animals survive. So when an animal has a body part, ask yourself, what could this be for? Right? There's a purpose. There's a reason why an animal's teeth are shaped the way they are, either to help it eat or to help it with its lifestyle or to help it survive in some way. All right. So at this point, we are ready to take our DOL. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.